We're going to move on to our member-specific segment. And Jennifer, I'm super excited. Talk to me about
gatekeeping, right?
Yes, about gatekeeping. I have some very, very strong feelings about gatekeeping. I look forward to hearing what we're going to talk about. Hit me.
Okay. All right. So gatekeeping is a pretty complex, in a way, subject. You have toxic gatekeeping, i.e., where, well, I'll only play with white guys, right?
Ooh.
And that's very toxic. You don't play with women because they're dumb. You don't play with black people or Hispanic people or Asian people. That is truly horrible gatekeeping. Now, the other thing that is gatekeeping, and even though you don't really mean that, is when you are in a mixed group, and particularly with women, and you start either harassing them or mansplaining them or belittling them. Okay, yep. That's gatekeeping, because that woman is probably not coming back.
Yep.
And so that kind of gatekeeping is really, really horrible. Please don't do that. Please, there are men who consider themselves, who I know, who say, oh, I'm feminist, but they do all of those things. And that's not feminist. That's not being supportive. Don't mansplain. Just if someone has a question, answer it respectfully. Okay? All right. The next kind of gatekeeping is, ew, you're playing Munchkin? Really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's me. That's me. No, that's why when I said I have complex feelings about this, it's because I hate gatekeeping. And the worst, the gatekeeping I hate the worst is the gatekeeping I am guilty of. And I am absolutely 100% guilty of casual shaming or light shaming or whatever.
Right. And so, in my opinion, the response to, oh, can we play Munchkin? My response would be, particularly a lot of times it's popular with the tweens and teenagers and stuff. Oh, well, Munchkin can be fun, but I've got these games. Have you tried these?
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they go, oh, I've never heard of that. Or, which is usually, but it really is fun. It only takes half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever. And, you might convert someone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, you gotta be positive and supportive and not, are you friggin' killing me? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't think that. Sure I do.
Yes. Oh, you like games? Do you play Monopoly?
You gotta keep it moving.
So true. True.
Now there's the other gatekeeping, which I do. Okay.
Hit me.
Okay, so as I think Tom mentioned, I do an Essen Day every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I invite certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And they come. And a friend of mine said, that meetup felt really curated. And I said, you're darn right it's curated. Because, and everybody, people are different places on the spectrum. My personal feeling is people work hard during the week. So if they're going to come all the way to a new country, Santa Clarita, it's not really a new country, it just feels that way. Then they're going to have a good time. They're going to have great people. They're going to have great games, and they're going to have a good time. And, my Essen Day this year filled up in 5 minutes.
That's right.
It was amazing.
That's right.
I've never seen that, But that's because people know when they come, they're going to have a good time.
Exactly.
So that is gatekeeping, because I do not invite rude people. I do not invite people who scream profanities. I don't invite people who cheat. You see?
You don't invite the disabled?
That's part of the hobby.
Yeah. You have a strict no disabled people policy. I know that.
That would not be true.
I don't know what it is about Native Americans, but you said absolutely none of them ever. Ever.
Guys, don't believe him. Of course. I mean, I've had trans people many times. I used to host gay board gamers before they could find a bigger space.
One of the great things about our LARP community that Trey and I are part of is that it is a very, very attractive to trans and queer people because they can dress the way they want to dress and they can live the way that they want to live for a few hours in a very deeply immersive situation without any of the normal cultural baggage that sometimes comes to them. And so I totally agree with that. I think that games and LARPs in this particular example are a great place for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, so now you also have issues with a group, let's say a group of 10 people, and 6 of them plan to play Here I Stand for the weekend, and then you have people, but you're stopping us from playing Great Western Trail. We won't have anybody to play with. Mm-hmm. And that's gatekeeping, right?
Well,
because we have to. Yeah,
you can play Great Western Trail any darn time you want to. Okay, I never get to play. Right. I never get to play Here I Stand.
Right, and so that kind of gatekeeping is completely acceptable as long as you make it clear this is what we're playing, and you're welcome to join us, assuming you're otherwise fit. This is it, and sorry. So gatekeeping is a probably too broad term in my opinion. Yeah. Because in some ways I do. A friend of mine has a meetup and he lets everybody in. And there's some people at his meetup that nobody wants to play with. Yeah. So what's happened to his meetup is it shrunk.
Yeah, well, once you invite Cal, it's really tough to get rid of him. So, friend of the pod, Cal. No, I don't think it's too broad a term because I think we're all guilty of it to some degree, and we all have to find where our balance point is. Because I agree. In my game night, I've had many people that have asked to come to the game night, and I've said no. I have, and to some degree,
even me, guys, I had to bulldoze my way in.
Well, there is a numbers thing, right? First of all, there is a numbers thing. It's a limited space, and sometimes we get 12, 15 people come, or 15 is pretty rare, but it does happen occasionally. But 10 to 12 people, it becomes unwieldy very quickly, and I'm not sure that I want a game night in which there are 4 tables going. I feel like I'm not really getting to spend time with people, so that's an issue. But it is an issue for other people that it's just I want this to be a time for my friends and I to get together. And to some degree, that's gatekeeping, but to some degree, no, that's just having a healthy boundary for this particular situation, right? I think there are boundaries that we can put in that are okay. Where the unfortunate thing about it is that I think you and I both are game evangelists. We want to bring people into the hobby. We want to deepen people's experience in the hobby. We want to show them new things. And by excluding them from this occasion, we're kind of doing the opposite of that to some degree, right? Well,
but for me, Tom, I'm not as much of an evangelist. I can't pronounce it.
It's okay. Evangelist, yes.
Evangelist as I used to be, because I've been in this hobby since 1983, which was my first con, I think. 1985, and so now. I want to play what I want to play.
I get that.
And. Right, because guys, I'm called the pioneer, but really I should be called the fussy gamer. Okay?
You are fussy. And by the way, you're getting fussier.
I know, huh?
It's okay. Guess what? I think I am too. I think that's going to happen to some degree because I like what I like, and I'm not going to change anymore.
Well, the other problem, folks, is that it's an hour drive to Tom's place for me. And, as an extreme example, I'm not driving an hour to play Munchkin, right? So You know,
To be
I have
clear,
to kind
I
of
do not have
balance
Munchkin. I have
things.
never had Munchkin. That's not in my collection, but okay. Okay, which gets to the other gatekeeping, because I just did it again. I just slammed Munchkin. Here is the problem. Okay, so my part of my evangelism does have a negative side to it, right? Because I don't just want to get people into the hobby. I want to convert you from worse games to better games, or more casual games to deeper games. Because in my mind, deeper is better. And that ain't so.
That's very dangerous.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Dangerous thought, Tom.
No, this is a confession. This is not a justification.
Okay, good.
This is not a justification at all.
You don't ever want to imply that heavy games are better, because they aren't.
Right.
And what that causes is something that I've seen so many times, is that, well, they're playing the heavy game, so since I'm smart, or I want to look smart, I better go play with them, and they're completely out of their depth.
I totally agree with that, and I'm totally guilty of that. I have brought I guess for me, it's that I want to see how deep you can go down the rabbit hole. I want to see how far you can go, and
on your own, and not being coached by every player at the table.
Right. And I make mistakes in that regard, right? I'm gonna push you too far, or too fast, or this or the other thing. And the other thing about it is that there is a part of my brain that does denigrate the lighter, more casual experiences to some degree. Now, listen.
This is so typical of white guys, right? It's so typical, y'all. Hearing it all my life.
It's sad. It is sad, and I'm owning it. It is a fact that it is there. Now, listen, I'm a huge proponent of Everdell. I'm a person that is, you heard the episode of me and my kids. We were talking about a ton of light games that we love to play. So I do like a spectrum of games, but I do think that there are games there are better games and there are worse games sometimes.
Yes. No. Now, see, there's a big difference, though.
Yes.
Between saying I like good games and denigrating a game that's good, but it's light.
Yes.
That's a big difference.
I totally agree.
You see what I'm Okay, yeah. So, and I don't think you do that.
I listen. I try not to do it. It is something that's in my mind to avoid.
He secretly does it, guys.
Well, no, but it's something I struggle with. I'm 100% cards on the table here. I do struggle with that. I do want to be an inviting, inclusive person. And I think I'm very inviting and inclusive in terms of people. Like, I don't judge people, but I do judge the games people play sometimes. And I got to cut that out. That isn't going to age well.
Right. Well, the other thing is that I know you think a lot of yourself, but a lot of people do not care whatsoever what you think of the game they're playing, Tom.
Fair enough. Totally true.
Because they don't care what I think of the game I'm playing either. Okay. Yeah,
but they
we have to not build ourselves up in that way. Well, I've been playing for 30 years, and that game you're playing sucks.
Yeah, but there comes a point when the professional screenwriter hears a person tell you that my favorite movie is Police Academy 6, and no, look,
my favorite movie is Police Academy 6.
You're gonna murder me. You're gonna literally murder me. I think that there are three things about human psychology that keep us from having a better world right now and today. I really do. I think there are three things. The first is that in-group love equates to out-group distrust. That is a psychological thing where the more you love what you are, the more you distrust and dislike what is different from you. That is a sad thing, and it is causing a lot of pain in the world.
Yeah, but that's not the way I think.
No, yes. not the way I think. Not the way I think either. But I'm just talking about general things. Second thing is that when a person is presented with evidence to the contrary of something they believe, it tends to strengthen that belief and not correct that belief. That's the second thing that I think is a unfortunate psychological truth that I wish wasn't so in the world, and that we all have to fight against. But the third one is the one that relates to gatekeeping, which is the instinct for a person that finds something great and discovers that a person is unaware of that great thing, is to announce to the world that that person doesn't know this thing, is to shame shame them, or to shine a spotlight.
That's okay. Just like I was talking about with the Richard Breeze thing and how he was so kind.
Yes.
You do something like that. That is not only is it not positive, but it makes you look worse than the person you're shaming. Would I invite such a person to my S&J? Heck no. Heck no.
I've done it.
No way.
I've done it. I try not to do it. I hate it when I realize later that I've done it. But I've done it in the past, and it kills me. And I had this experience with my son not too long ago, where I saw him do it. He was like, I was driving him and his friends somewhere, and he was like, "You've never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail? What? Are you crazy?" Blah, 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 blah. And gave him a little bit of feces for that. And then when the friend got out of the car, waited until the friend got out of the car, and then I said to him, "Look, Aiden, I've done this a lot of times, and I never like that, because what I'm actually doing is I'm doing the opposite of what I want to do. What I want to do is grab that person and say, first chance you get, come with me. We're going to sit down on the couch. I'm going to make some popcorn, and I'm going to show you this thing. I think you're going to love it."
Right. See, that's how you handle that.
Yes.
You don't criticize people. I mean, people are like, "Well, did you see this show or that show?" Look, I used to watch 3 things on TV: Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, and the National Football League. And that's it. Now, if you want to think less of me because I didn't watch whatever hot, TV show, go right ahead, because I don't care.
I don't think less of you. I just think you're starving my children. I mean,
not watching go scripted and pay for the tickets. God.
Jennifer, any last words on gatekeeping? I think this is a really good conversation.
No, I mean, there is an appropriate place for it. Just when you do it, make sure you're staying positive.
Yes, totally agree. Jennifer, thank you so much. I think that was really, really great. I think I'm surprised that we haven't brought up this topic and talked about it yet. I think it's something important, and I'm really especially happy that you talked about the nuance of it, because it's not always 100% black and white. There are times when what is something on the borderline of healthy boundaries and gatekeeping, and trying to navigate those two is a really important thing. So thanks for that.
Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.